Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are following our series, in the last video we worked on bootstrapping our repository to build AWS infrastructure using Terraform. In this video, we will write Terraform code to build our VPC and its components. So let's get started. First, let's look at the architecture diagram and see what we need to create. At first, we need to create a VPC. So let's go ahead and create a new one. We want to make it modular and manageable, hence we will create a new folder under modules called VPC and create all the standard Terraform files in there. Now let's add child module into our root module. In order to add a child module, you would use a module followed by its name and source path. Now let's try to run Terraform plan to see if everything works fine. Looks like we encountered an error. Let's pause for a minute and investigate the error. Looking at the error, we can see that our module was not installed, but we have added it to the root module. So what happened here? The answer to this is whenever you add a new module or change the backend, you would need to run Terraform init, which would make sure new modules are captured when you run Terraform plan. Let's run Terraform init to install new module and reinitialize Terraform. Looks like everything went fine. Now let's run Terraform plan again to see if there is any change to the infrastructure required. We can see that there is no changes required. So now let's create our VPC. In order to create a VPC using AWS, you would need AWS VPC resource block. Let's jump to AWS Terraform registry and search for AWS VPC resource block. Okay, we have found it. I will copy and paste that resource template to our editor and change it to our requirement. First, let's change the resource name to sharded SRE VPC. From the architecture diagram, we know that we need to use CIDR of 10.10.20.0/24 for the VPC. Now let's add that into the code. We can leave the instance tenancy to default. We want to make sure DNS support is enabled, hence add configuration argument enable DNS support to true and enable DNS hostname to true. Let's add some tags of name and environment. Terraform provides a neat way where you can auto-format your code to look nice using Terraform fmt-recursive. Let's run that. Okay, let's again run Terraform plan to see if our VPC would be created or not. We can see from the plan that Terraform would create a AWS VPC resource with the name sharded SRE VPC. Go ahead and apply the change using Terraform apply. Let's go to AWS console to verify if the VPC has been created or not. Looks like we are on wrong region. If you remember, we created our VPC in US West 2 region. So let's switch to that region. We can see we have created VPC named sharded SRE. Let's go to the diagram again. We have created our VPC. Now we need to attach internet gateway to that VPC. Let's go ahead and create an internet gateway. To make the code more readable, we will distinctly separate them with comments. Now let's go to AWS Terraform registry and look for internet gateway resource. Copy and paste that resource block into the code and update it. We will change the name to sharded SRE IZW. For VPC ID, we would need to fetch VPC ID of the resource we created above. The way to do that is to reference the resource block by its unique name. As we discussed in Terraform basic or introductory course, we can reference a resource block uniquely using its resource type and its resource name. For this case, it's AWS vpc.shardedsrevpc.id. Add some tag for the internet gateway as well. Let's run Terraform plan. We can see there is a change expected, and Terraform will create our internet gateway resource. Go ahead and apply the change. Let's head over to AWS and verify if the internet gateway was created or not. We can see that Terraform has created the internet gateway. Now we have created a VPC inside a region and added an internet gateway to that region. So let's start by creating our subnets into that VPC. Search for AWS subnet resource in Terraform registry and copy the template into our codebase. Let's add some comments for better readability. Since we need two subnets, public and private, let's create both of them. First of all, we will create public subnet. Change the name of the subnet to the required name from the diagram, which is sharded SRE public subnet. Make sure VPC ID is referencing to the VPC that we created above, as we want to create this subnet inside our VPC. Update the CIDR block to match the diagram, which is 10.10.20.0/25. Let's add some tag to the subnet as well. From the documentation, we can see that in subnet creation, we need to specify which availability zone will this subnet fall under. From the architecture diagram, we know that the AZ we would be using is US West 2A. Similarly, let's create our private subnet as well. Multiple subnets can be on multiple AZ, but for this tutorial we will be creating both subnet in a single AZ. Okay, let's run Terraform plan again. We can see that it created two resources, which is our public and private subnet. Let's apply those changes. Okay, we go to AWS console and verify if the resource has been created or not. Okay, we can see that both subnets were created. We have our VPC created and subnets created. Now we need to make sure proper route tables are configured for each subnet. For now, let's take a look at public subnet. We need to create a route table which will route traffic from public subnet to the internet through the internet gateway. Look for AWS route table resource and copy the code template, and we will update it. First, we will create public subnet route table. Let's give it a similar name, sharded SRE public route table. And update the VPC ID to match our VPC. We want all the traffic for the internet to go through our internet gateway. Hence, we will add the default route to internet via internet gateway. Add 0.0.0/0 in CIDR block and give the resource identifier of the internet gateway. We do not need to worry about IPv6 for now, so let's remove that part. Let's add tags for the route table as well. Okay, let's run Terraform plan again and verify. Everything looks good. Let's apply those changes. Once applied, let's go to AWS console and verify our route table has been created, and that route table has an entry of 0.0.0/0 via the internet gateway. We can see that route table was created and it had appropriate route added. Okay, that's all for this session. We have almost completed the design. Now any VM we created on public subnet will have access to the internet. In the next video, we will look into creating route table for private subnet. Since there are some other resource that needs to be created while doing that, like creating a NAT gateway, adding another route table for private subnet, we will continue that in our next video. I hope this video was useful and you are following along. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below about the things you found missing. See you in the next video. Until next time, stay safe and have a good weekend.